How's everyone doing? Good? Enjoying yourself? So I'd love to just give a quick round of applause for Charla for putting on this incredible event. So awesome. So I'm super excited to share my expertise and my experiences on why I really believe that weight release, and it's neat because a lot of the other presenters have been touching on this, it really is an inside job. And I know this because after 20 years of dieting, I did my first diet when I was 11 years old, prompted by a comment by my dad, who was very well-meaning, and I've talked to him about the comment, and it was never meant to hurt me, but it's not really about what's said to us in life. It's about how we internalize it and the story we make up about it. So the comment was, Charmaine, you're not to go for desserts at the buffet tonight. And I thought that meant, Charmaine, you're fat. I won't love you if you're fat. And so you better watch your weight because your sister and brother are a lot smaller than you, and that means that there's something wrong with you. So that story really started my weight struggles, and I encourage you to find yourself in that because we all have a story, and it might not have been what caused you to struggle with your weight. It might be what's causing you to be fearful and to not step into your greatness. And so that was a big moment for me, and I'm 33 years old now, and about 4 years ago I had a big aha moment on what was keeping me stuck, and I'll share a little bit more about that. So why I know for sure that dieting is not the solution, I could go on for days, but I don't even want to give dieting any airtime because that's how much I think it's a faulty logic. Lena's touched on it, Charmaine touched on it, it's just not the answer. And so I love this quote by Albert Einstein. It's kind of like his definition of insanity. So doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So after dieting for 20 years and gaining and losing hundreds of pounds, my smallest weight was 120, my highest weight was 200 pounds, I realized that it wasn't working. I would lose a lot of weight, and then I would get to this body and be like, yeah, this is going to be sustainable, no problem, I'll just kind of maintenance mode. And then what happens? For every diet, there's an equal and opposite binge. And then I would binge, and I would gain back all the weight plus more. Has anybody ever had that experience? Yeah, so it's very, very common. So I like to talk about your definition of success when I talk about this, because for me, success now is not restricting my calories, portion control, never being able to be free around food, stressing about every morsel of food I eat, weighing and measuring my food. So when I did this fitness competition, I dropped about 30 pounds in 10 weeks, and I weighed and measured all my food, and I worked out twice a day. I killed myself in the gym. It was not fun. My husband still to this day says if you did another competition like that with the same approach, I don't think our marriage would last. That's how bitche I was. I was awful. And so, that's not success to me. And this is just a couple years of my weight roller coaster. And anybody who has been with me, I have Ironside Fitness, and I've been personal training for almost 10 years. And so I've had clients watch me balloon up and get small and balloon up and get small. And I was never really walking the talk of what I really now know to be true. So success for me now is being happy and free around food. And that means I can go to, this is a pancake house in San Diego where they make these puffed up pancakes with apples and cinnamon and syrup on them, and I can eat that without feeling like I'm ruining everything. And I can just savor it and enjoy every bite. I also eat in a way that honors my body. So if I eat like that, then maybe at dinner I'm not going to eat like that, and I'm going to balance it out, so it all balances out. Who in here is excited about learning how to release some weight, how to have some peace around food, and how to enjoy your body more? Anyone sounds good? Can I get a ooh, ooh? All right, cool. So in the introduction Charlotte gave, I was able to release about almost 50 pounds in about 8 months, and I'll be perfectly honest, the first photo is about 2 months postpartum. So I mean, some people say, oh, you were postpartum. Well, I got up to that weight without being postpartum. So, I mean, that's just the only photo I actually had at my heaviest because I never wanted photos of me taken before that, to be honest. Anyone not like having photos taken of themselves because they don't feel great about their body sometimes? So that's something I want everyone to leave here and be proud of themselves, no matter what your weight. So there's 3 links, and the first one is embracing a more holistic approach. And I feel like I could just not even do this slide because everybody's done my work for me this morning. But basically, when we talk about weight release, a lot of people just think it's change what you eat less, exercise more. Does anybody feel like that's kind of like the formula? Or at least the formula that's been pushed on us? Yeah. So you're not alone there, and that's what I thought. And that's why I was the overweight personal trainer. And also, I was on the Canadian Olympic team for snowboarding for 8 years, and I was overweight my entire career. And I had access to the best dietitians who could tell me how to lose the weight, but I just couldn't do it. And that's why I'm sharing this, because if I had known what I know now, I would have never had the big struggle I had. So the first thing is stress. Lena talked about it in her presentation. Stress causes us to hold belly fat, to hold fat. It slows our natural fat-burning abilities so that it's harder to release weight. And it also causes our brain to tell us that we need more energy because we're in fight or flight. We might not have enough energy to keep up the battle, which the battle is a self-imposed, ridiculous, multitasking, crazed life, right? Anybody feel like that sometimes? It's a bit crazy? Yeah, me too. I'm right with you. So the cortisol, driven fat storage and the metabolism issues that come from stress. And so sometimes I'll have clients come into my fitness studio and they are so stressed, they are not hardly sleeping, and then they want to add workouts. And I just say, you know what? No. Let's not work out. And I'll turn away business literally because I'm you need to sleep more before we add fitness. Because adding fitness is not going to help you. It's going to hurt you. So stress and sleep are huge. Sleep affects us similarly. I'm not as scientific as some of the people in here, but sleep affects us similarly in that we crave more carbs. And when I said our brain tells us we need energy, what's the quickest form of energy? Sugar, bread, chips. Who at the end of a stressful day is just give me the broccoli? Right? So yes, broccoli is a carbohydrate, but it's not nearly as quick to digest as a cookie or a piece of cake. So that's really to keep in mind. So 7 to 9 hours of sleep, that's going to do your body a world of good. You're going to have more energy for whatever you decide to do, and your weight release will be a lot easier. And I say weight release because I work a lot with the power of words. And if you're going to lose weight, you're always going to find what you lose. So it's really powerful to your subconscious mind to say, I'm releasing it, I'm doing it in a loving way, I'm doing it in a sustainable way, and it's not coming back. And that's powerful. So joyful movement. So I'd love to just get everybody up on your feet. Lots of sitting. So I don't know. So I just wanted to move. Just joyfully stretch your body over to the side. It feels, your body loves this, by the way. It's becoming friends and allies with your body instead of seeing your body as the enemy. So twisting, whatever feels good for you. There's no wrong or right. Turning around. I was hoping that we could get some pump up music, but I was told that there's AV issues, so we're not going to mess with it. Yeah, just some little quick feet, moving those legs. Yeah, maybe getting some little squats going. It's actually easier to squat in heels. I'm serious. You can get way deeper. Awesome. So joyful movement. And so for me, that's not necessarily an hour-long workout. Sometimes I'm at my computer and I'm getting stressed, and I just turn on Black Eyed Peas, tonight's going to be a good night, and I just dance around my office for 5 minutes, and that gets me moving, that gets me sweating. And so small bursts of activity are just as powerful as long, 45-minute workouts. And so if that's what works for you, that's what works for you. And so when people say, what's the best type of exercise? And I've been doing this for almost 10 years, and I'm the best type of exercise is the one you're going to do and the one you're going to enjoy. Because when you're not enjoying yourself, it's not sustainable. but also pleasure stimulates weight release. If you're happy and enjoying what you're doing, your metabolism, your fat-burning abilities heighten. So you want to be enjoying what you're doing. And the last one is peacefully eating your food. So when you eat your food, sitting, laughing, smiling, enjoying, again, pleasure, your metabolism increases. There's so many effects. There's so many people talking about this, I'm forgetting everyone, but yeah, just distractions off as much as possible, focus on your food, enjoy it, because there's been studies, and someone could be eating a sandwich on Deerfoot Trail in rush hour, rushing to get to their kids, pick their kid up from school, versus eating the same exact sandwich, sitting at home with a candle lit and a good friend across the table, and you can hold 3 times as much fat from that same sandwich when you're stressed. And if that's not a motivation to slow down around food, I don't know what is. And I actually think this information is going to start taking the diet industry down, because people are getting more conscious, right? We're a very conscious group, right? Woo! Yeah, awesome. So the next one is, we talked about the holistic approach, which you could say this is part of it, is embracing a more loving approach. So Deepak Chopra says, a negative motivation is incompatible with a positive result. So to step on the scale, to feel like garbage and feel mad at yourself, and then to go to the gym and torture yourself, that's a negative motivation. To decide that you don't feel great in your body, and you want to feel vibrant, and you want to feel excited, and you want to feel energetic and confident and beautiful and strong, and to use that to motivate you is going to take you far further than any stepping on the scale and shaming yourself and guilting yourself. And I can tell you that from experience. So having really a positive thing to move you forward. I also love this quote: no amount of self-improvement can make up for any lack of self-acceptance. And so we can try, and we can try, and we can try, but until we get that inside right, it's all going to be futile. So you see this photo of me pointing at my thighs. And I started hating my thighs when I was about 12 years old. I was in a dance class. A dance teacher made a comment to me. Then a girlfriend of mine, friend, in grade 7, told me that if I had a nice face, but if I didn't get my legs and butt smaller, that I would never get a boyfriend. So who's had a ridiculous comment like that stuck with them? So it's easy to laugh at it now, 20 years later, almost. 20 years later, but at that time, that broke my heart, and that made me so sad. So, I finally decided I was going to stop shaming myself towards being thinner, and I was going to start loving myself towards it, and that was the game changer for me. I was, about 3 years ago when I was pregnant, I went to a birth program. It's kind of a bit woo-woo. Any woo-woo ladies? Yeah? And so one of the exercises was to go around the room and say the first word that came to mind when you thought about your body, your pregnant body. And some of the women said, goddess. And some of them said, beautiful. And the only word that I kept repeating in my head, F-A-T, 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 fat, 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 fat. And they came to me, and I was last, and I burst into tears, and I said the word out loud, and in that moment, I realized that if I couldn't love myself pregnant and, growing this beautiful baby, then I probably could never figure out how to love myself. And it really was, an epiphany moment, an aha moment. And so from that day on, the self-talk that Charmaine was talking about. Charmaine, you're so fat. You have no willpower. You're never going to get this weight thing figured out. Your thighs are too big. You need to go change your pants, whatever, blah, blah, blah. That inner critic, B-I-T-C-H. I just started saying, cancel, cancel, cancel. I'm not fat, I'm beautiful, I'm strong, and I'm on my way to a better body and a better life. And so if you can catch that little inner critic, which, by the way, is not you, it's a separate voice. It came to you very young, and it came to you for very good reasons, but it's not serving you anymore. If you can start to notice it and realize that it's a separate entity from you and start telling it that you're not interested, you're going to disengage from it, your life will completely transform. So you can love your body and still want to change it. And in fact, I believe you have to love yourself before you can sustainably change. And so me saying I love myself at 200 pounds, that doesn't mean I was comfortable. It just means that I'm still worthy of love, other people's and my own. And then that gave me the momentum. So I like this quote by Janine Roth, a great author in the emotional eating world. When you take care of yourself with food, it becomes apparent that eating is only about one thing, nourishing your body. And your body wants to soar. And so when I talk about food with my clients, it's not bad foods, it's not good foods. It's this food makes me feel lethargic, unwell. I feel like I need a nap after it. My stomach hurts. I'm exhausted when I eat it. I'm farting. I'm gassy. Honestly, when you fart after your meals, it's usually because you're eating something that really does not serve your body. And so that's I don't like to say bad, because when you label something bad, you actually give it way too much attention, and then you end up wanting it more. So that's, these are foods that don't honor my body, and then these are foods that do honor my body and make me feel amazing and make my mind super clear. And, Charmaine, go grab her list, because those are the foods you want to be prioritizing. And if you don't like something on that list, there's an alternative. It's not black or white. It's a gray area. It's finding that middle path. So talk to yourself like you would someone you love. At my fitness studio, sometimes I get women walking in. They're like, oh, look at these disgusting triceps. Look at this belly, and they're pointing out everything that they don't like about themselves. And I immediately stop them and say, would you say what you're saying to yourself to your best friend, or to your kid, or to anybody you cared remotely about? And usually the answer is heck no, and it's a really good gauge for you. So if you're starting to criticize yourself, think, would I say that to my best friend? And if it's a no, then please just gently and kindly start to shift that, because it's not serving you. It's just an old pattern. I love this quote as well. It's never been true, not anywhere at any time, that the value of a soul, of a human spirit, is dependent on a number on a scale. So how many of you weigh yourselves at least once a week? So maybe like half the room. So I encourage you to really release the hold, release the weight that the weigh scale has over you. Because it had the power, I would step on it, it would either be a dark cloud over my day, or I'd be like, oh, I'm down, now I can go eat junk. And it was, no matter what it said, it was never motivating. It's not actually as motivating as you might think. So at Ironside Fitness, we got rid of our scales. I don't own a scale. I have no idea what I weigh anymore, and I don't care. At the doctor's office, I just say, hey, I just don't want to know the number. And if I see it, I see it. It's no big deal. But for 20 years, I stepped on that scale and let it take so much from me. And I'm not willing to let it do that anymore. So the last approach is to really start looking inside yourself for the answer. And this is where Lena's presentation really, really hit home for me. You can't just diet. Dieting is a cover-up for a deeper thing. And I often say, dieting is like putting a Band-Aid on a wound that needs to be cleaned and put stitches in. Like, it's not the solution. And so I'll tell a quick story about my aha moment with this. And it happened about 5 years ago, and I was in the Agape Hospice here in Calgary, and I was in my mom's room. My mom had leukemia, and my brother came in. It was my mom's birthday, and so my brother came in the room, and he thought it would be a nice idea to sing happy birthday, and he had a cheesecake. And my sister was there, my mom's partner was there, a few of her friends. My brother had invited a few of her friends. And so we sang the song, felt totally weird to me, and all I could see was the cheesecake, and just like I couldn't wait till everybody left so I could eat this thing. So luckily nobody really wanted it except me. So once everybody left, I was staying the night with my mom, and it was her birthday. It was also Mother's Day, and I literally bite by bite ate that entire cheesecake. And at one point, a chaplain popped their head in and said, hey, how are you doing? Do you want to talk? And I literally looked at them and thought, why would I want to talk to you? Like, I have an entire cheesecake here. This is my therapy. And by the way, I was like very overweight and very unhappy with my weight. And so I remember finishing the cheesecake and looking at my mom, who was not even really in the room anymore, and I had to like swab her mouth because it was so dry, and she was groaning in pain. And I remember thinking, this is so unfair, this is so sad, and I'm so angry, and I don't know how to express that. I don't even want to talk to a chaplain or a social worker because I've never in my life felt safe expressing my emotions. From a very young age, I started using food. I started using food for everything. If I was uncomfortable, I ate. If I was happy, I ate. If I was frustrated, I ate. If I was resentful, I ate. And so I realized once I finished the cheesecake that I felt super sick to my stomach. I felt bad, I felt shame, and the grief and the anger and the frustration that my mom was about to die was exactly the same. There was no improvement from eating. So I encourage you, I invite you, do you have a moment like that where, you decided to jump into a bag of chips or a cake or whatever your thing is, or maybe you decided to drink a bottle of wine or go shopping or distract yourself from yourself? Because I think, can anyone find themselves in that story? Some people? So after that, I decided I'm not going to keep doing this. I can't keep living in this uncomfortable body. I was a fitness trainer, and I was not walking the talk. And so I went to grief recovery work, I did some counseling, and I learned that it's okay to cry, and it's okay to show your emotion. And it's not just okay, it's great. And so now you'll never catch me apologizing because I'm crying in front of someone, or, and when someone cries in front of me, I'm like, please just keep it coming, because if you let it out, then you're not going to stuff it down with food, with drugs, with shopping, with social media addiction, with anger. Unexpressed emotions going long enough, that becomes anger, and uncontrolled anger. And I think that's a big part of why there's so much violence in our world. It's because we weren't taught at a young age how to express ourselves. So, for a quick review, the 3 steps. So the first step is really see that you are a mind, you are a body, and you are a spirit. And if you just approach your journey from eat less, exercise more, you're leaving out a whole lot of things. And I don't know percentage-wise, but I'd say it's like at least 50-50, taking care of your spirit. And then, the food matters. And the exercise, moving your body matters, but you'll never sustain it until you do it from a holistic approach. So get more sleep, prioritize that. My biggest thing for that is I have a rule, a guideline, a loving guideline. It's not hard and fast. I might break it once in a while, but I watch 1 Netflix show a night. And it used to be like 4 a night. And then I would be so tired the next day, and there was no chance that I would get 7 hours of sleep. So that's a big one for me. Find what that means for you. Another thing is the stress. So stress, I encourage you right now, just put your feet on the floor. One of the easiest things you can do to take down stress is 3 deep breaths. Fill your belly, fill your chest, fill your diaphragm, and then a long, long exhale, longer than your inhale. And then again, deep breath in. And I like to breathe in my intentions and feeling good words. Feel good words, love, peace. And then I like to think about exhaling anything that's not serving me, any tension, any stress. Let it out. And then one more deep breath. And that can instantly take you out of that really crazy stress mode. We also talked about joyfully moving your body. Again, remember there's no one best exercise. Just because your friend does CrossFit or boot camp, that might not be your thing. I'd rather see you go dancing and having fun than being like shaming yourself for missing your workouts every time because you actually hate them. Human brains are actually wired for pleasure, not pain. So you have to find something that's pleasurable if you want to sustain it. And then the last thing was that peaceful eating. So slow down around food. Talked about it. Love yourself. And my program is called Love Your Way Light. And I teach women how to choose a loving path. And there's no shame. There's no judgment. There's 2 steps forward and 1 step back, and that's all part of the journey. We're in process. We're not looking for perfection. And it's all about just really being proud of your process and your progress. And then the last thing is really look inside yourself and ask yourself, am I eating because I need fuel and physical nourishment? Or am I eating because I'm sad, angry, lonely, tired, whatever it is? And I'll leave one more quick tip is the broccoli test. When you're about to eat something, just ask yourself, am I hungry enough to eat broccoli? Unless broccoli is your favorite food. But it's just kind of a neutral food. It's healthy, but it's not that exciting. And if you're really not, then just say, well, what do I really need? Because food can never fill. I think that there's a quote about that. When you pay attention to yourself, you notice the difference between being tired and being hungry, between being satisfied and being full, and between wanting to scream and wanting to eat. And actually, screaming is better than eating if that's what you need to do, because a spiritual hunger can never be satisfied on a physical level. So you can try to keep eating, but if it's not. You can try to keep eating, but if it's not really fixing and helping the problem, then it's just going to keep going, and there's never an end. And so the way you know if emotional eating is affecting your life is if you're carrying excess weight because of it. My husband eats emotionally sometimes, but it doesn't affect his weight. It's not a big problem, so he's not obviously going to look to address it. Whereas for me, I was literally carrying the pain of the past on my body, and so it was time to address it. So that is about it for me. So thank you so much. That was so fun. Come. Thank you. Is it okay if I take a selfie?
Yes.
Okay. Everybody, let's do like a big woohoo. It's going to be a video. All right. Wait. 1, 2, 3. Woohoo! Yeah, awesome. Cool. Well, come connect with me and Kate at the back. We've got some prize giveaways, and if you want any more information about what I do, and thank you so much. Thanks, Charla.
Thank you. Great job, Charmaine.